So the first speaker is Dr. DPhil from Shan Buddhist University and King's College London. She will be presenting infinite methods, mathematics of Patthana. And the second speaker is Scioto Nguyen, the University of Abhidhamma from Myanmar. He's going to present the structure and methodology of Putana, the question chapter of the Patthana. So without taking much time, the earlier sections, the chair already introduced the Charles Shaw, Samatha. Now, may I kindly invite Charles Shaw to begin this section's panel, please.
I worked in university administration, and I helped to look after, at Oxford, I helped to look after the museums. And the museums were full of lots of beautiful things. But my manager, my boss, was a mathematician. And if I had asked her, I'm sure that she would have said that actually the most beautiful thing was the beauty of mathematics. So I'm pleased that we have saved until the last session the beauty of mathematics. And also we have two very excellent speakers to explore this particular dimension of Patthana with us. So, first of all, it's Dr. DPhil, who I'm sure is familiar to many of you. She completed much of her education in England, first at Oxford, then at SOAS, and then completing her PhD in Buddhist philosophy at King's College London. And now she's both a visiting research fellow at King's, but also very well known to many of you I know as the Dean of Graduate Studies and the Lecturer in Theravada Studies here at SSBU. And I must say on behalf of all of those who have visited, great thanks to her for organising not just today's conference, but also the workshop. So we're very pleased now to be able to hear from something of her own work. And she's going to talk to us on the infinite methods, the mathematics of Patthana.
So I'm just going to stand. Allow me to stand. And so in this talk, what I'm trying to do, and I will look into the mathematical elements of the Patthana. But before that, I would like to highlight some of the ongoing research questions that I have. And these are the kind of things that I've been thinking since my PhD thesis on the Patthana. So the first question is, to what extent do Buddhist texts have mathematical elements and why? So we all know about Anguttara Nikaya and so on. So, and also in Buddhist literature, as you know, there are many numbers and many classifications and different patterns. The next question is, if and how can we define mathematical elements in the context of Buddhist texts and tradition? So this question is about, okay, you have mathematical theories, mathematics as a field of academic studies, but within the context of Buddhist studies, what does that actually mean in terms of when we talk about mathematics and mathematical elements? The next question is, do Buddhist elements, mathematical elements in Abhidhamma texts enhance our understanding of these texts? So here, what the implication, of course, is that Abhidhamma texts are not just kind of speculative theories. There's some profound, experiential elements to it, as mentioned by various other speakers. So what does that mean? What is the role of mathematics in that context? And then I work on Patthana, And I'm interested in the structure of the Patthana as a whole. And so what does the structure or the patterns in the Patthana tell us about Buddhist causality or conditionality, as I call it? Because Patthana, as you know, talks about conditions. Different conditions actually coming together and various dharmas arises, okay? And then why do we see this kind of complex mathematics, which I will show you later, in the Patthana? And if and how did science as in broader sense, or knowledge in a broader sense, in ancient India, inform mathematics of the Patthana, the kind of things that we see in the Patthana. So these are the kind of research questions that I've been thinking about, and I don't have clear answer to these questions. So I'm just throwing these things out. I'm working through them. So let's just think about what is mathematics. So mathematics, according to basic definition, is the science of numbers and magnitude. But also it encompasses the kind of counting, enumerating, shape or patterns, space or surveys, all kinds of different interesting things, interesting to me, at least. And I'm also interested in the origin of mathematics. So according to some theories, there's practical elements to it. Mathematics, not in the sense of we now know it in kind of modern sense. In modern sense, mathematics also mean different things. Mathematics, perhaps in ancient time, may have a broader kind of understanding. So one of the definitions could be knowledge. So as we know from various evidences that even in Egyptian society or civilization, we had surveys, and that actually relied a lot on mathematics. But also another theory is to do with the religious rituals. So for Indians, so kind of Brahminical fire sacrifice or fire ritual, you have to have different dimension and measurement of the sacred place. And in that, you have to have mathematical usage in there. And some scholars say that probably both theories might be true, because there's also practical usage, but also there's ritualistic usage. And I think I agree with these scholars who say that, okay, both theories are probable or possible, you know. So that's what we mean when, or that's what I mean when I talk about mathematics in a kind of a broader sense. But looking specifically in terms of the Buddhist texts, and specifically in the Patthana, we see the word sancha, or in Burmese, tincha. When we say tincha in Burmese, we all understand that we are talking about maths, okay? So tincha here can mean enumeration, calculation, number, sums, and all kinds of things. But also sancha can also mean name or reason or understanding as well. And then there are other Pali terms. So gana or gana, ganaka, mutika. So there are other Pali terms. I won't dwell on this too much. But what I want to do is show you the kind of things that I'm talking about, and we see in the Abhidhamma Pitaka. In Abhidhamma Pitaka, the beginning is the Matika, the list of dharmas. Tikas and Dukas, right? And Searo's not here. Well, the first time when Tipitaka Searo, who was here for the opening ceremony, he was the first one that was trying to explain me what Tika and Duka was. And we call it Day and Do in Burmese. And the first time that I heard those terms, I did not understand at all what he was talking about. It took me about 3 months or even longer to understand what he was talking about. But anyway, the Matika is very interesting because the Matika, as you know, lays how many tika? How many tikas are there? 22, right? How many dukas? Hundreds. Great. So, and then what about this Sutanda? 42. Yes. So those dharmas are very interesting. And those are the kind of basic ingredients for the Patthana. And I will come back to that. But just bear that in mind, okay? Those dharmas. Okay. You can see that here, we are talking about the Matika. Matika also can be understood as the mother because it's kind of the giving out as a blueprint for the Patthana. But lately, I've been thinking that, well, hang on, the Matika also could be a blueprint for the whole of 7 texts of the Abhidhamma. Because when you look at the Dhammasami, for example, although the printed version that we have it only deals with the Kusala Tika, you could also apply the same kind of classifications, the same kind of methods to other Tikas and Dukas. So Tikas and Dukas are very important, very crucial, okay? And going back to how we can understand the Patthana. The Patthana is, so you have 22 tukas and then 22 tikas and 100 tukas. Altogether, 266 dharmas, set of dharmas, right? Conditional relation, the Patthana actually explains how the 266 dharmas and their combinations, as you know, they combine different configuration, if we can use that word, different permutation or different set of combination through different combinations of 24 pacaya. Okay, so with the Rata Siaro mentioned this morning about the Pyasipyai. So again here, Pyasipyai is how we can combine different set of pacaya. Okay, so the Patthana in essence is this sentence here. So conditional relations between 266 dharmas and their combination through combinations of the 24 pacaya. So that's, if you were to ask one sentence about the Patthana, that would be it. That would be it. So we have also seen analysis of the Patthana through this kind of classification. So what you have is, you have conditioning state, conditioned state, and then conditioning forces. So it's tati or sati. And X can be any of the 4 ultimate realities. So here, what I'm doing is, I'm following the Burmese approach in that we are using a yagout, or by looking at, in terms of, by looking conditional relations in terms of chitta, chittasika, rupa, and nibbana, okay? Why? Can be any of the 3 ultimate realities except nibbana, because nibbana is asangara, right? And then Z here represents 24 pacayas. So what you see is, you see a set of conditions influencing or relating to another set of conditions, and through 24 Pachayas. So that's kind of capture what the Patthana is on the whole. Then looking at the the mathematics of the Patthana, what we can see now, what I'm going to talk about is how the mathematical elements or dimension of counting is related to the structure, specifically the structure of the Patthana. Now, Huber said that the structure of the Patthana is difficult to follow. It is indeed difficult to follow, right? And it's very similar to this rhyme, Nazari rhyme, which I'm afraid I have to ask Charles to say it.
What's this?
The rhymes. Would you mind reading this out?
Certainly. As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Each wife had 7 sacks, each sack had 7 cats. Each cat had 7 kits, cats, sacks, and wives. How many were going to St. Ives?
Where is St. Ives? Can you tell us?
St. Ives is a seaside town on the south coast of England. It's a very nice place, but I haven't noticed lots of cats.
So you see, it wouldn't work if I had read that, because it just wouldn't work. But so this this is a puzzle, right? This is a very old puzzle which dates back to 18th century, at least. And what it does, it is showing how counting actually works. Right, and there's a trick. The usual question is, okay, how many are going to the St. Ives? The number of the answer actually depends on whether you count the narrator or not, and it's a trick puzzle. Well, yes, whether you only count the narrator, right? But an earlier example of this kind also appears in Italy as well. And even an earlier one in Egypt as well. So because this is about a problem of counting, how we can count and how different division can occur within specific set of numbers. So please keep this set of 7s in mind. And now we can look at the Putana structure. Okay, the Putana structure, on the whole, can be, or it's as far as we know, according to this, according to the printed version that we have, there are 3 divisions. You see the list, 24 conditions. Pachaya Nidesa, Pati Nidesa. So the bigger session. Okay, in the Pati Nidesa, what you then have is Pochawara, which we will have a specific talk by Scioto Nguyen, okay, and the answer session. Okay, and what you then have is you have combination of dharmas. So the first level is actually specifically about the dharmas. Okay. And then you have Tika Patthana. So this is, again, dealing with Tika, Dukkha, Tika, Dukkha, and then combination of how Tika and Dukkha are combined. And then you have different, the Sawara or Chawara, the first 6 chapters, and then Panyawara, so at the end. So that's is at another level. Within that, what you have then is you have Pachaya Nuloma. So this is dealing with combination of Pachaya conditions. And then Pachaya Pachaniya. So it's a reverse. And then you have also another reverse. So combination of the conditions. Within that, what you then have is Vipingawara. Vipingawara is the analysis, very detailed analysis. And then you have Sanchawara. Based on my study, what you have to do is you have to actually combine the Sanchawara and Vipingawara together, or you have to read these two together. Otherwise, Sanchawara doesn't make sense, right? So because Vipingawara is actually explaining quite explicitly how Sanchawara is, how you can understand the numbers in the Sanchawara. Even within the Sanchawara, you have 3 different sessions. So imagine that this is one part. Now, what you have to do is you have to actually multiply this here as well, the whole thing, the whole level. So level 3, same for this, and then same for this, and then same for this. So what you then have is you have an expansion or generative component of the Patthana. So you multiply, you expand. Okay. Now what we can then draw our conclusion is that when we look at mathematics in general, when we say counting, it means that we count a number or a set of numbers. But in the case of the Patthana, what that means is the structure becomes very important as well, because the structure can actually tell us about the underlying patterns within the Patthana, okay? And also the number of questions that we can have and the number of answers that we can have. Not every question will have an answer. So there are some questions will not produce any answer. That I won't go into much detail. Now the next step is to look at mathematics of the Patthana, looking at the set theory. So for those who are familiar with the set theory or mathematics, in Myanmar we call it Bong Thote. So finding common dharmas and relations. Okay, I need to move on quite quickly. Basically, this is the first Sanchawara, but Sota Sancha. Sota Sancha is this session. This one, Sota Sancha. This explains how how dharmas are related through only one pacaya. Okay. The next point that I would like to highlight is Sabhaga. Sabhaga is how 2 conditions are influencing or relating the dharmas. And then Ghadana is 3 or more. So in Ghadana, you have 3 or more, and that's where you have Pyasipyai. You have to look at the different pacayas. So this is very kind of just to illustrate the Ghadana section. So here, object, predominant, decisive support, presencence, present, non-disappearance condition make one type of conditional relationship. So looking at this one. So you have different pacaya influencing. Next elements of the Patthana mathematics that I want to talk about is the combinatorics. So it's about combination, how you combine and what kind of patterns that we can draw on. Okay, so combination or permutation, this is a very basic definition. Counting the numbers of ways in which some particular arrangements of objects can be achieved. So if you have a set of things, how can you arrange it? How many different ways that can you arrange it? What are the optimal, maximum way of arranging those set of things? So this is very much about combinatorics, what that means. Okay, but what I would like to highlight here is the difference, the main difference between combination and permutation. Combination does not, the order does not matter. But with permutation, you have to have A, B, C, D. Otherwise, you can't, it doesn't work. Okay? This is the question chapter, but I want to skip to that. And then looking at, I also want to, when we look at the printed version, what we see is the 7 questions in the Kusala Tika and in the Pochawara. What I was interested in was how can we get to this number 7, okay? Number 7 from a set of dharmas, so combination. What I did and what other Sayadaw, Burmese Sayadaw have done also is to show or to teach us that you write out simple and then you identify repetition in this. So this chart actually shows you have kusala, akusala, and abhyagata, right? And then you have combination. You combine it by 2s, you combine it by 3s, and then you identify the repetition. So 4 and 6, 5 and 8, and then 7 and 9. These are repetitions. And then these reds are also repetition as well, or similar. So from 15 set, you get 7 because the first 3, and then you take it 1, so 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So what that means is that in terms of relationship, it doesn't matter whether you have, philosophically it makes sense. In that, as long as there are right dharmas, so right kind of conditions are there, in any order, their effect will arise. So as long as you have a group of right chittasika, the chitta will arise, or the right type of, I don't know, the rupas, and then the other related rupas will arise. So philosophically, it makes sense. And therefore, that means that what we are dealing with is a combination without repetition, okay? And this kind of idea, this kind of mathematical thinking, they are found in Ayurvedic texts, so ancient Ayurvedic texts, as well as other kind of Jain mathematicians. They also talk about that. I have to do more research on it. I'm reading around that topic. I want to quickly move on to this slide, just show you that the main 4 methods, which most of you are familiar with, so I won't actually explain too much. But I would like to draw your attention to these figures and why we have, according to the Atakta, we have over 4 billion, and then according to the Mulatika, we have over 3 billion. Okay, so they notice that there's a 1 billion difference. Perhaps now we might be able to explain why that's the case, but I won't deal with that. So just to conclude, what we are dealing with is that, as I have shown you, there are mathematical dimensions in the Buddhist text, so different ways of thinking about it. Specifically, when we talk about mathematics of the Patthana, we can talk about counting or enumerating. We can talk about set theories, so finding common factors. We can talk about combinatorial patterns. I'm very much interested in patterns, and it's kind of soothing to just look at the patterns. That's me being geeky. And then I would like to draw your attention to the importance of the Matika. I think we should have more research done on the Matika so that we understand more about the Abhidhamma Pitaka. unless we do that, I don't think we can actually understand the breadth as well as the depth of the Abhidhamma Pitaka. And as you all know, the Patthana is well known for these infinite methods. I think I will go as far as saying that Abhidhamma Pitaka is also, we should be thinking about that, about Abhidhamma Pitaka in terms of infinite methods, because even if we look at the Dhammasami, there are so many different methods. Or Dhatukatha, we have someone working on the Dhatukatha, for example. There are so many different methods. Yamaka as well, right? So there are many infinite methods. What I have shown here is the kind of scholastic study of the Abhidhamma. But now, if I may, only 2 minutes, I would like to draw this session by reciting the Sanchawara session from Kusalatika. So I'm just going to recite Sota Sancha, okay? I'm going to recite it in Burmese way, the way that I normally recite. He tuyan tata aramani nawa adiptiyan tata ananre tata tamananre tata tahaza de nawa enyamani tini negdaye tirada upanegye nawa pureza de tini pyesaza de tini ade wene tini game tata vipage ekan ahare tata Ainriye tata zane tata Mage tata tamyode dini Wibyode pinsa adhiya de rada Nathiya tata wigare tata Awigare de rada.
So thank you, Dr. P, for such a fascinating insight into this, an explanation of this mathematical aspect of the Patthana. I think you've shown us so much about the importance of maths, of structure, of pattern, and you've also pointed us a direction for future research in terms of looking at the importance of the Matika. I think I'm tempted to say as a final word that I'm genuinely lost for words, and I think that is actually a semi-serious point, that in a sense there is a sense in which the impact of mathematics and number genuinely replaces the impression of word. And you genuinely managed to convey something of that in your talk, so thank you very much. Oh, so for the next talk, I'm pleased to introduce Scioto Nguyen, who is an Abhidhamma student studying at the University of Abhidhamma in Yangon, where he's been studying since 2011. He was awarded the Abhidhamma Dara in 2013 and has been working at that university since then. Interestingly, he's also an IT professional where he's been working for at least 20 years. And in fact, he has combined his interest in IT and in Abhidhamma in his research on the structure and methodology of the Puchavara, the question section of the Patthana. And that's the subject of his talk today. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, my Dhamma friends. First of all, I would like to thank Seattle and also all the friends working here to make these occasions happen, and also to the University of Abhidhamma to give me a chance to present my work here. So I'm a student, I'm Tanwin, my name is Tanwin, I'm a student of University of Abhidhamma. So this paper is not for the academic pursuit, it's not for my PhD, it's not for my MPhil research, it's just only the interest. That interest triggers me. So I'm working on my MPhil study. That is on the Mula Yamaka. And then Mula Yamaka, and I'm trying to find a pattern of trying to use a set theory where in the Yamaka we have a full methods. That 4 methods can be translated into 4 sets theory. So 4 equations only. And then that's my work. So for that, I need to write a program, a computer program, because I'm the IT professional, so I start writing. So when my teacher, my Siaji Umyatan, the founder of the University of Abhidhamma, he found that, and then he started telling me, okay, why don't you do this Pusawara? Pusawara is a lot of combinations and need a lot of that kind of skill sets you're currently not working. So, okay, I just say, okay, yes, Yaji, I do that. So this is just my findings. This is not for education. It's not for the degree pursuit. So I'm just sharing my knowledge and also my mistakes, okay? So actually this presentation is prepared for the general audience. I think this one is not actually necessary. This is about our Pitaka. This is about the Buddhist Council, and this is Mahapasanaki, where this council was held, and this is the Khammai Pagoda. So all these studies, our Patthana and our Theravada Buddhism, all are recited there or originated there. All the textbooks are coming from here. All the translations to the world, international world, English translations coming from these efforts. So I just put it here for the record. So this one. So from this, we all know that this is 7 books of Abhidhamma. So it's all, everybody knows that it's now on the wiki. So I just put it out and just put it in there. So Patthana. So among these 7, Patthana is the biggest one, right? Okay, Patthana. In the Patthana, we know that there's a 24 Pisaya. We all chanting, counting, and then we all reciting. So go back to Andrew classification. I'm just someone who is reciting this Patthana daily. I mean, Patthana books daily, reciting. And also, on the other hand, I'm also trying to understand that Patthana, because I'm just a student. I don't fully understand this. I'm just trying to learn this. So here in the Patthana, according to our tradition, this is our Scioto, Mula Patthana Scioto. He is the most prominent scholar. All these teachings and learnings and aura originated into this Scioto. And then in his books, there are 2 books that's translated to the English. As again, this is from PTS, volume 1, and also this is the volume 2. This is about the conditional relations in English, translated and published into the world. So now the good part of this time is that internet is a very, very good medium for the communications, and all the works are hosted onto the medium. So I also reference these mediums because I know that this is for the international conference, and my international friends can easily look at the references. So this one is from the tpitaka.org. It's in that website. You can see all these Romanites 3 Pitaka in there, and also in Myanmar, and also other scripts. So it's in there. So my discussions today is about the Pusawara. Pusawara is, thanks Dr. P, she already explains most of the structures, and what is it? Pusawara. It's just about questions. In the questions, it has 22 classifications and also the 100. 22 classification, tika. Tika means 3. When the Buddha teach, he tried to classify the world into 3, a set of 3. Following that, he got 22 classification. That is, goes into 22 tika. And then he tried to classify into 2, the whole world into 2. That becomes 100 combination. That is, goes to Tuga combinations. So in the Pusawara, he tried to ask the questions. He tried to give a sample of the questions. Okay, so this is the originating questions from here, from the internet. We can get it. We have 7 divisions. So following that, this is the calculation. Please allow me to point out. So this is related to Dr. B discussions. So this part is Atakata. Atakara calculation, because I just taken out only for the Kusala questions only, because 388 billion is too much, too big to touch upon that. So I just want to touch on the very small, basic, on the Tika classification, Tika questions only. In that classification, we can see that 7 into 7, 49, okay, 24. So following this part is our Mula Patthana Scioto calculation. So in here, we can see that the difference is this one, the red part. What he did, he just combined this one, 1176 and 13524, and then he tried to multiply again with the 24 Pisya. That is the difference. In our Patthana Scioto, Mula Patthana Scioto, he just followed the simple term. So all the way gone through, finally we reached to 200 million questions with these combinations. So today my research, my experiment is just exactly following Mula Patthana Scioto calculations. It's okay? So this is the excerpt from our Siaji Umyatan's book, has a total of 388 billion questions. So my work is only part of that, only on the Tika 200 million. Okay, I'm going to explain how I reached there, how I reached to 200 million calculation in the Patthana. Okay, this is the abstract that's already circulated into your hand, so I won't read out here. So I quickly go to the structure. Okay, here is the first structure. This partly is taken out from the dpdika.org. In there, you can see that Tisiya Kutalandraman Pateksa Kutalotamo obesity Hetupetsia. Okay, you can see here Kutala, 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 Akutala, Kutala, Abhyagada, Kutala, Kutala, Abhyagada. So it follows that specific pattern. So I'm not a Pali expert and I don't know what is it and what is exactly that. I just follow the pattern. The pattern is already highlighted here. I just take out this pattern, put it into here. It's kind of like variables. In the mathematics, we use a variable. So I took it, because I'm dealing with the Tika, so I took first part and set into the variable A. And then follow to variable B, variable C. In the Tika, first pada is taken as variable A, second pada is variable B, third pada is variable C. Following that, I got this pattern. So this is an example of Kutala, and then generally, we can generalize this pattern into this. We can put 22 Tikas patterns into here. This is the first pattern of base 49. This is, I name it 1 of 7. You can see it in the first part of the Tika Patthana. That is number 1 sentence, this first pattern. In the second pattern, follow the same structure. That second pattern is for the Akutala. And Akutala also follow the same pattern, exactly the same. Here, Akutala, Akutala, Kutala, Akutala. So it follows the same pattern. Then I generalize into this for the placeholder for the second part. C is for the third part. A is the first pada. Okay, clear? Am I clear? It's just 3 parts, ABC. In the Tika, we have a first pada. First pada is assigned as a variable A. Second pada is variable B, and third pada is a variable C. So it follows a specific pattern. It's 2 of 7. So it goes like that: 3 of 7, 4 of 7, 5 of 7, 7, 6 of 7, 7 of 7. That goes to 49. 7 into 7, 49. Then again, we call it Eka Mulaka. Eka Mulaka is combination, 24 pizza combination directly into this 7 into 7, 49. It's called Eka Mulaka. here we got 1176. I put it this structure because I just want to maintain the pattern of this Siya, Gutalotomo, Padesa, Gutalotomo, Opesea, Hidupesea. So I just want to maintain this structure, so I keep it here. So this for the Eka Mulada. The first, simply 7 to 7 multiply into 24, it goes to 1176. And the second part is a little bit tricky. That is like Du Mulaka to Sabah Mulaka. Buddha deal with Hetu, Aramana, Hetu, in combinations of two. So it follows that pattern. It follows the combination. It goes to like, we have 24 teams, 24 items. We're trying to pair with 2, and then we add it up. So it goes to 23, 22, 21, and finally it's reached to the number of here, 276. There's a combination of 2, combinations of 3, combinations of 4. It goes to up to 24. Well, mathematically, we call it is n-1 combination. It's reached to 276. And again, this combination, 276 combination, multiplying with the 7 into 749, it goes to 1354, 524 combination. That is for the simple, straight combination. And again, it goes to another round of 24. For example, it starts with the Hetu Aramana. In the second time, it starts with Aramana Hetu. So in that way, it goes to another round of 24. Here it comes 24. And this is the location where the Mula first expositor and the second sub-expositor differences. The first expositor uses the combinations of the first 1176 and the last one, and then he multiply again with the 24. That is mathematically and producible. With the Mula Patthana Seattle method, we can reproduce this combination. And then the rest is just following the pattern. The rest is like positive and negative. But Desa Awara, Bisya Nuloma, that is positive combination, positive, positive. And the second combination is positive, negative. Third, negative, positive, negative, and negative, positive here. So it follows the basic positive, negative combination again. So base combination is 7 into 749. And then multiply into 24, that is the first base combination. Second part is 7 into 749 into 276. That is from Dukkha Mulaka to Sabha Mulakati. That part is multiplied again with 24. And then later it goes to positive and negative combinations. It's according to the structure of the Patthana. So here is the combination calculation. And then it goes to Vara. All the first presentation is on the Patesa Vara. Now it goes to 7 Vara. Again, we goes to that calculation 7 times again, following the 7 Vara pattern here. So according to this, we got this number, and then multiply into 7, we reach to here. This for the 7 Vara combinations. So all the first mathematical combination are again multiplied by the following 7 Vara. And then that 7 Vara multiplication goes to 22 Tika. Now we reach to the final 200 million questions here. So it's logically, it's very interesting. You just follow the text pattern, and then the formula is just, mathematical formula is just, we can easily model. Then, so what I did is, according to my interest, I just follow this, and then I just write out the computer program to generate all these into text. Because it's for the human being, we know the answer, we know the calculation method. How can we follow these 200 million questions in writing? It takes time. It's possible, right? But so I just write a computer program, and that computer program just exactly followed the model I explained here. And then I finally came out here. The first part is Kutala Tika, blah, blah, blah. This one is for the Roman character. I first tried with the Roman character, Roman Pali, and then I changed it to the Myanmar Pali. So on my computer now, I have two versions of this. One is Romanized text expressions, and the second is Myanmar text expressions. So this is the 22 Tika. When you click this Google Tika, only one folder, it goes to here. It has 7 Vara. Okay? And when you click one Vara, Pradesa Vara, one folder, it goes to here. Underneath, we have 4 divisions, right? For plus, minus. And when you click one folder, it goes to like this. Ega Mulaga and blah, blah. So everything is here. These texts are too big. And if you click that one, you see this. This is the text generated from my program. So this is Romanized Kusala Pali. And also, this one is Myanmar Pali. So, what I want to present here is that we study Abhidhamma, we study Patthana. We do a lot of analysis. We are very good at that. Myanmar is, I think, the best in that regard. So, from my understanding, okay, I love Patthana. I recite Patthana daily. And on the other hand, I also want to learn more about this. I want to know more about the structure. I know it's big. How big it is? Is there any way to mathematically compute it? Yeah, of course, for the human being, yeah, it's very difficult to write it down. But we have the computers now. We have the programs. We can easily write it. It's just a text generator. It's just a simple text. It's sitting on your laptop. It's sitting on your folder. It's easy. You can just click, and you can open it in your browser. So that's all for my discussions. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Scioto Nguyen. Thank you so much. We've had, over the past, not just today, but also the last couple of days, various people have referred to the importance of connecting Abhidhamma and Patthana with their daily life. And it's fascinating to see someone who has managed to combine their interest with in Abhidhamma, also with their professional life, and produced a remarkable piece of work like that. So thank you very much for that. So I think that still leaves us with some time for questions. So, Alish.
Hello, thank you very much to both speakers. Actually, this is only a comment for Scioto Nguyen. I really think that your program and all these files should go to the Myanmar National Museum. Next, yes, I'm very serious. I think it should be put next to the old manuscripts, because this is the kind of next step, and this is a very valuable document. So I'm seriously suggesting to donate the original program together with the files to the National Museum. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We have a further question. Gentleman here.
Yes. Minglava. My name is Putana Structure. Morning downstairs. Most day. Number 1 question. Sana Pisio and Mega Pisio. Number 2nd question. Todabadi Mega Viti. Yes? So this is the Patthana is the good meaning, Pama meaning. Pama to translate. Yes. Yes, sir.
There's a comment. Okay, so Kate, sorry. Professor Crosby, here. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
So you've both been talking about combinations. Can you tell us a little bit about where permutations come into the mathematical patterns of Abhidhamma?
So if we remember the definition of permutation, where it's the order matters, I now think that in the Patthana, at least, we have permutation as well. Permutation occurs when you are combining the, specifically for the Pochavara question chapter, where you are combining, so taking Hetu Pachaya as the constant, and then you are combining it with Aramana, and then so on. Okay, so in that session, I read somewhere, actually in the Mula Pathan Sayadaw, that you have to have this kind of pattern or order. So you now I think that there's a pattern in terms of permutation. So when you are combining, okay, taking Hetu as the constant, and then you add another one, and then you add another one, and then so you create these kind of questions. And then you then take, what you then take is Hetu, and then Aramana, and then you then add on additional conditions. So these are, I think in Sia's as well, I think if you go Sada Mulaka, Eka Mulaka, and that kind of, yeah, here. So when we're talking about Eka Mulaka, taking one as a constant. And then the next slide, I think, yeah, where you have Sapa Mulaka. So Sapa, all 24 as a Mulaka, and then you add that. So what you find is that in that case, you have permutation. The order matters. I think Ukimanda, you will know that. He also mentioned that, where the patterns or the order matters. Okay. Does that answer your question? Your turn.
Okay. So the combination, up to now, I think it's clear, right? We have 7 to 7 and multiply into 24 of this Ekamula, that's easy, right? So the confusion part's here. So it has Dukkha Mulaka to Tapa Mukla. That means combine 2. Hetu Aramana. And then next part is combine 3, combine 4. Sapa means goes up to 24. It's combined to 24. In the mathematical term, it's like n minus 1. We have n 24 minus 1, 23. So it goes to series method and plus, blah, 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 then 22, 23, 20, 20, 20, like that. It goes and then combine. We got 276 combinations. That 276 is the combination, permutation pattern. We have 7 into 7, 49. That is the pattern.
and multiplying into 276 pattern again. That's why we reach to 13524. And up to now, it starts with here. We can see the Hetu Mulaka. That means we start with Hetu Piseo, and then Aramana Piseo. And then in the next part, and the next 24 round, it starts with here, Aramana Mulaka. It goes to here, Aramana Piseo to Hetu Piseo. It starts with Aramana again, it goes to 276 round again. It's like that, it's Aramana Mulaka. Hetu Mulaka, Aramana Mulaka. That's why it goes to 24. That is the combination start.
I think in correct me if I'm wrong, I think in Burmese pedagogical term, they use pisiton. So as in, am I right in saying that? Huh? Pomo? Pisiton, no? Yes, it's pisiton. So you push, or you literally you push away the things that you don't, you're not combining, or you're not variant. The variant is being pushed away.
So doesn't that restrict? As soon as you turn into permutation, it restricts the number, right?
Actually, not restrict the number. Technically speaking, for example, if you book that 24 PCA into the Excel, right? In the Microsoft Excel, and you have 24, and then you try to convert that rows into columns. It becomes these combinations, right? In one row, it's only one Hetu, and then rows to column is go to 24, 23, 22, 21. It goes like that.
Can I ask, what do you mean by restrict? So there's a upper limit would be the 24, because you're dealing with the 24 thing.
That's if you're doing theoretically, but if you're doing an actual process.
So you, well, yes. So if we just generally assume that n is infinite, then you can have n minus 1 would be infinite. Can you see that? Because, when we say that there's a specific number to it, that because we have 24 conditions.
Yeah, so why do you do it? So why do you want to use infinite when there's
Yes, so well, going back to your question, does it restrict? Yes, it does, because we are dealing with a finite number at the moment. Can you see that? A finite number. Oh, Xia might want to contribute. So Xia Ulamye.
So thank you very much to both of the speakers. Your presentations are very informative and very interesting, especially when the Scioto Nguyen is an engineer. I'm also an engineer, or several engineer. But the first one is the comment to the Dr. P's presentation. So when we are talking about the maybe mathematics, so there are two theories. The first one is the application. It is maybe land surveying, but maybe in some part of the world, the Kanda chain is still using to measure the lands. This is the first one. The second one is maybe in building. Actually, it is the building are not like religious building only, but in the ancient times, especially in Egypt, that they are using the mathematics and measurements to build their maybe temple, etc. Another interesting point is that it is also used in astronomy. Yes, maybe the others have missed that point. Thank you very much. Another one is that when we are talking about the permutations and combinations, for example, we have 3 items, A, B, and C. In combination, we have only 3, A, B, B, C, and AC. But in permutations, we have all 6. Mm-hmm. So here, when we are calculating these things, it is applicable to maybe Bochawara, maybe. But there are some restrictions because calculation is a mathematical matter. Because there are some restrictions. For example, in Upanishad, there are 3 items: Kusala, Akusala, Abhyakata. That they apply Kusala, 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 Akusala, Kusala, Abhyakata. In the same way, the Akusala can be combined Akusala, 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 Kusala, Akusala, etc. In the same way, in the case of the Abhyakata. But in the Anandara, when we are talking about the mind-to-mind relationship, they are the first 2. You cannot combine all the 3. First, Kusala and Akusala. Kusala and Kusala and Kusala and Akusala only. No, Abhyakata is missing there. In the same way, in the second part, Akusala, Akusala, and Akusala, Kusala, and Akusala, Akusala. But the Abhyakata is also missing there. Only in the Abhyakata, there are 3 combinations you can see. So sometimes we have to take in there. Those restrictions should be taken into account. So thank you very much.
Thank you. May I just respond to the point about astrology? So when I mentioned about the rituals, and if you remember Brahminical rituals, specifically they use mathematics implicitly to look at the stars and so on, so that they find auspicious time to do the ritual, as well as creating auspicious space by creating sacred boundaries through mathematics. So that is in the implication. Thank you.
I would like to add one thing to Dr. P's comments. When we look at the history of this Abhidhamma and the originating country, this is India, right? In India at the time, all this Brahmanism is already flourished. They have Veda mathematics, and also they have technology. Look at the stars and the mappings and the navigations and all that already in there. So what I want to say is it's kind of like mathematics. Mathematical sense is already in there at the time. So mathematics, as we all know, that is just a language. It's just a language to transfer some kind of knowledge. So my personal interest is that, is there any mechanism in this Patthana or teaching by using some kind of old mathematics to transfer the knowledge into there? So that's my main interest. Thank you.
In the West body of knowledge, in the Western body of knowledge, it was described as a quadrivium, having 4 levels. The first level was arithmetic. The second level was geometry. The third level was music. And the fourth level was cosmology, which you could translate as the first level of arithmetic is number. The second level of geometry is number in space. The third level of music is number in time. And the fourth level, cosmology, is number in time and space. So my question is, I can't see this. No, it's not the question. My observation. My question is, how does this work 3-dimensionally?
How does it work?
3 dimensions. Wow.
I think that's for you.
So I don't know. Do we need 3 dimensions to decipher this? 3 dimensions is...
Or 4 dimensions, or 5 dimensions, or 6 dimensions.
Yeah, of course, right.
Or an infinite number of dimensions.
Exactly. Yeah, right. So the dimension, 3 dimensions, we use 3 dimensions. Why? We need to know the volume of this one, right? If we want to calculate this, the volume of this room, we need 1 dimension, 2 dimension, and 3 dimension, because we want to know the volume of this room. But in this here, we're just looking at the pattern. So we don't need to jump into another dimension. Maybe we need to, for example, if we dig down into the Patthana, there we'll see the time dimension there, according to the Buddha.
But there's a very big difference between a circle two-dimensional, and a sphere.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking mathematically, I'm talking experientially. You know, something that's circular is is us having an influence, but in a plane, in a limitation. As soon as it shifts to something three-dimensional, space, which ultimately is infinite, then there's a way into seeing some of this more as a whole.
Okay,
The matrix.
got it.
Yeah?
So when you look at the circle into the three dimension, it becomes a whole, right? That's you want to mention, right? So you want to look at this dimension into another three dimension, and you want to know whether there will be another kind of format or another kind of understanding from this pattern. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I also want to know that. I still don't know.
Is there nobody else? I don't want to hog the...
Oh, there's two.
Dạ, Uông Chủ.
Yeah,
May I discuss about the Putana mathematics? We must be careful about the Buddha, where the Buddha teach that Putana Dhammas in Tavaresa. I think that all will be accepted. In that case, there is Deva is different dimension, right? They are far from our dimension, three-dimensional creature. And then, but be careful, okay? Buddha Patthana Dhamma is applied to any dimension. Be careful. And then Patthana mathematics, now we discuss about the permutation and combination. But Buddha, in that case, there is a discipline, Buddha discipline, because at that time, I think that Deva and Brahma cannot study the permutation and combination. Okay? And then they doesn't know matrix. But Buddha very simply explained to them primary and secondary Dhamma, right? And then maybe there is three Pagya, the two is primary, the last one is secondary. If there is four Pagya, the first three is primary, and the last one is secondary. And so by means of that sequence, Buddha calculate very, very simple method with the 388, okay, the Bochawara is 388, something like that, okay? 12 digit, right? That is about our 31 Bhumit creature. About that, all the sansara, I mean that 31 Bhumi, the events in the 31 Bhumits. That is the Patthana mathematics. So be careful, we only learn about the permutation and combination only by mathematics. But there is more than permutation, more than combination, right?
Thank you very much, CIE. Can I just answer Keith's question? In that, so if you talk or if you take 3-dimension or 4-dimensional thing as an experiential phenomena or something that is quite experiential, then at least in Burmese tradition of studying the Patthana, what they do is they always relate in terms or explain in terms of Chitta, Chittasika, and Rupa and Nibbana. So which means that it's always brought back down to what you experience internally in terms of through development of the mind, and so through Bhavana. So what you might experience through Bhavana. So although we are actually talking about mathematics of the Patthana, so which is very scholastic from, if you just look at it like that, then it's very much theoretical, very much kind of abstract form. However, what the Burmese Seattles, I think, very cleverly has done is that by bringing back down to explaining the Patthana through Chitta, Chittasika, Rupa, and Nibbana, they don't lose the ground. The ground is there. And that is very important element that we have to keep in mind. And throughout if we look at it throughout the literary history, we have seen it from at least 18th century or 17th century even. So through the Yaga, you see. So that is very important to keep in mind.
Pramata Dhamma, there are 4 dimensions first. One is Lakkhana, second is Kaisa, Rata, and Pisupatthana, and Bhadatthana. That is only 4. But in Dhammasami Putana Sutta, I think all of you have learned that there is starting from time dimension, that is Adita Nagata Pisopana. Isatanwa, Bhaitanwa. That is internal as well as external. And then Hinanwa, Panitanwa. That is very low and very superb. And then Tukumanwa, Olarikanwa. And then Yanduri Tandikiwa. There are altogether 11 dimensions. So I think it's enough to learn like this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. So I'm afraid our time has now passed. Can I say, I think it's a considerable...
excuse me.
At me. Oh, okay.
May I answer just now this question about the dimensions? The 3 dimensions just refer to the Rupa. So in Rupa already included in Patthana as one kind of realities. But in Theravada Buddhism, Abhidhamma, their Rupa does not exist according to length and width or how high it is. Not according to this. It exists as reality and galaba. Sorry.
Okay. Did you want to comment?
And about 4 dimensions, including Gala. This one depends on 2 kinds of understanding. If the Gala, the 10 Gala, according to Theravada Buddhism, it doesn't exist as reality. It is just our conception. It's a kind of illusion due to ignorance and vivalasa, perversions.
Thank you very much for your comment. Sadly, time is upon us. I don't know which dimension. I've lost track of which dimension that's in. But anyway, somewhere along the line. So today we've had so many interesting talks on so many different subjects. If I may say so, it's a particular credit to our 2 speakers that even after such a long day, they've managed to produce even questions right at the end, people wanting to go beyond the end. So thank you very much to both of them for that. And could you please thank them once more?
Thank you very much for this reading pen in number 4 is very...
Can I just remind, can I just ask you or draw your attention to tomorrow's afternoon session? In it, you will see that there are questions and discussion session, and also there's a session on focus group discussions. So if you have questions, or if you have topics that you would like us to discuss, or you know, as a group discussion, please bring it to the conference hall tomorrow. If you would like to make a note, please make a note and then please bring your questions or topics to us. And then we can actually address it more broadly. And then we can open up the discussion more broadly. Okay? Thank you. Now I'm going to hand over to MCs.
Thank you very much. It's really interesting what you're saying. And I would like to add one more thing. This is my chance. I'm just going to give you a special message raised from Kun Yom Sam Suk this afternoon. Yata panasa andara thayati tata pathamang Abhidhamma pitakang nasati. Tata pathamang sapa pathamang antara thayati anukamina pacha Dhamma sangaho tasaming antara hide itere tuisu pitakesu Titesu sasanang tita mewa hoti. I think Kate Crosby also mentioned in her books, Theravada Buddhism page, I think in the 82, if I'm correctly remember, the decline of Buddhism. What is that? Traditionally, why the Myanmar traditionally strongly believe that Abhidhamma, the Buddha's teaching, the Abhidhamma Pitaka will disappear first. Among the Abhidhamma Pitaka, the greatest Patthana will be disappear. So with that, in Myanmar, it's strongly believed in Abhidhamma. Among the Abhidhamma, there are Pathan boy recitation. And at the end of this section, we're going to have the Abhidhamma study scholarship donation. We're going to have to protect the Dhamma, I would say that. The donation of Tripitaka, Sikhalai, Abhidhamma study scholarship, donated by the devotee of Ajahn Pramahapanom, Thamalankaro. Actually, the Venerable has studied in Myanmar for many years. Thank you very much. Okay, then may I now invite the chair to present the certificate for these sections. Okay, thank you. And souvenir. Okay, now may I remind you that for the group photo, and today is the last section for first day of conference. Our cameraman, three. May I also invite Rector Seattle to be in this group photo. Thank you very much.